Welcome back, explorers. We are diving right into the Cinematic Explainer Expedition today, trekking sequentially through all 23 of your essential exam questions for Grade 7 Environment and Careers. Think of this as your ultimate survival guide. We're taking the exact source material you need to know and turning it into a visual journey. By the end of this, you aren't just going to memorize these answers, you're going to truly understand them. Let's get going.
So here is our map for today. We'll be hitting local environmental problems, environmental health strategies, the iShack case study, simulating your future career, and finally, workplaces and school choices. We're literally crossing from the natural environment right into the human-made world of work.
Kicking things off with Section 1, Local Environmental Problems. We're starting our journey in the fragile ecosystem of our local environment to figure out exactly why our planet is struggling, and honestly, what that means for us.
Now, if we ask the big question, why is our world sick? Well, the answer points right back to us. It's human interventions. We fundamentally altered our surroundings. And the truly heartbreaking part about this tragic change, it hits the poorest and most vulnerable populations the hardest. They're right there on the front lines of this environmental degradation, and they usually just don't have the resources to shield themselves.
But we do have some major players fighting this sickness, like the WHO or the World Health Organization. You can think of them as the chief guardians of the planet's well-being. Whenever there's a crisis, a disease outbreak, or some massive environmental health hazard, the WHO is the international body responsible for coordinating the global response.
And that brings us to the air we breathe, where we're actually facing dual threats. On one hand, we've got massive outdoor pollution driven by modern industry, exhaust gases from factories, cars, and power stations. But on the flip side, we've got an equally dangerous threat indoors. Indoor air pollution is a huge issue caused by things like traditional open cooking fires, coal stoves, and the very real dangers of using paraffin. It's a total squeeze from both the modern and the traditional worlds.
Let's shift gears to water, specifically South Africa's stark water paradox. We are basically fighting a two-front war here. We simultaneously suffer from a severe drought of clean, fresh water, while at the exact same time, we're dealing with a massive surplus of dirty, polluted water. It's crazy to think about, right? Because of this paradox, the downstream effects are just devastating. That severe shortage of fresh water completely destroys our ability to maintain personal hygiene and strips whole communities of clean drinking water. Meanwhile, our rivers are getting heavily polluted by human activities like mining and farming, and what happens? That polluted water becomes a breeding ground for dangerous waterborne diseases, things like bilharzia, cholera, and diarrhea.
And it's not just our air and water taking a hit. The very earth beneath our feet is being scarred. The surface of the earth is taking heavy damage from two main culprits. First, reckless, unwise farming methods that just completely strip the soil of its nutrients. And second, toxic poisoning. Humans carelessly discarding products and literally suffocating the earth with plastic waste.
Moving into Section 2, Environmental Health Strategies. Now that we've surveyed the sheer scale of the damage across our air, water, and soil, it's time to pivot. Let's look at the actual defense mechanisms and strategies we can use to heal our habitat.
Have you ever heard the mantra, think global, act local? Basically, what this means is that global environmental health is just a reflection of local environmental health. You can't just save the entire world overnight, but the grand ecosystem is saved by sweeping your own doorstep first. If communities just focus on keeping their own suburb or town clean, broader global health is naturally going to follow.
There are 4 key institutional defenders working tirelessly to mitigate these risks, and you definitely need to know them. Number 1, the World Health Organization, which we've already met. Number 2, the WWF, that's the Worldwide Fund for Nature. Number 3, our local municipalities, who manage waste right on the ground. And finally, number 4, private waste management companies like EnviroServe. Together, they form a really crucial protective network.
But hey, defense isn't just up to the massive organizations, right? There are 5 crucial everyday steps to fortify your own home against disease and pests. 1. Actively keep toilets and bathrooms clean. 2. Make sure drinking water is purified and keep your house well ventilated. 3. Consistently wash those hands before handling food and after using the bathroom. 4. Keep your perishable food in the fridge, cover it to keep flies away, and toss out anything rotten. And 5. Throw your rubbish into proper bags and regularly disinfect your bins to keep rats away. Simple, for sure, but incredibly effective survival tactics.
On to Section 3, the iShack case study.
Our trek now takes us from theory straight into a real-world application. We're going to look at a fascinating human settlement, a true beacon of adaptation, known as the Ice Shack.
Now, before we step inside the ice shack, we have to understand the ultimate law of the land. According to Section 24 of the South African Constitution's Bill of Rights, we all possess a pretty empowering constitutional right. It boldly states that everyone has the right to an environment that is not harmful to their health or well-being. This right here is the legal bedrock that projects like the Ice Shack are built upon.
So, what exactly is it? The Ice Shack is a heavily improved corrugated iron shack. It was launched as a highly innovative pilot project in the Western Cape by some brilliant minds over at the Sustainability Institute and Stellenbosch University. They basically looked at informal housing and asked, how can we completely reimagine this to make it safer and healthier? The crucial takeaway here is how the Ice Shack ingeniously recycles everyday landfill waste into life-saving, sustainable features. The engineering is brilliant. They use a solar panel on the roof to power 3 lights, a phone charger, and a security light. The walls, they're lined with recycled cardboard boxes sprayed with fire-retardant paint to prevent blazes. For insulation, to reflect the heat, they actually use inside-out milk cartons. And the floors are laid with old bricks salvaged right from a nearby landfill. It's pretty much the ultimate example of act local. All right, Section 4, simulating your future career. We're leaving the natural environment and housing behind now, and our expedition is crossing into completely different, yet equally vital terrain, the bustling world of work.
It turns out that mimicking or simulating a job before you actually get it is super important. Simulating a career helps you uncover the required dress code, the specific tools you'll be using, and what the daily activities of that job actually look like. And speaking of dress codes, a dress code is just a standard set by an employer that employees have to stick to. It drastically changes depending on your specific career habitat.
You've also got to remember that you bring your own ecosystem to the job. Your unique internal traits, your personality, play a massive role in your ultimate career choice. You really need to align who you are with what you do. A perfect example from your source text of a vital internal trait is having a naturally hardworking personality. That acts as a foundational survival skill in almost any career path you could possibly choose.
Let's map out a specific profile. The elusive mechanical engineer. What are the tools of their trade? Well, they rely daily on CAD software, micrometers, and anemometers, which are wind power meters. As for their daily problem-solving rituals, they spend their days designing and testing machine parts, solving complex technical problems, and actively collaborating with others to just make machines better and way more efficient.
And that brings us to our final stretch, Section 5, Workplaces and School Choices. We are going to chart the physical territories where these diverse professionals operate, and most importantly, how you can navigate your own way there.
Let's quickly categorize these physical work environments. A workplace is simply the physical location where a worker does their job. It's all about perfectly matching the professional to their native working habitat. So, for a teacher, their workplace ecosystem is the classroom. For a doctor, it's the high-pressure environment of a hospital. And for a programmer, it's an office. Makes sense, right? As we approach the end of our journey, the absolute crucial point you need to understand is how you unlock the gates to these workplaces. Ultimately, the specific type of career you choose and practice is determined heavily by your formal tertiary qualification. Whether that's a degree, a diploma, or a trade certificate, that formal piece of paper is literally your passport to the world of work.
Which leaves us with the ultimate survival question for your personal expedition. If your entire career depends on a tertiary qualification, what determines if you even get access to those tertiary institutions in the first place? The answer? Your school's subject choices in grade 10. Every single choice is connected. So I'm going to leave you with this to ponder. Are the subject choices you're preparing to make right now building a strong, sturdy bridge to the tertiary destination you actually desire tomorrow? Think carefully, plan well, and best of luck on your exams.